They don't know the exact number of people here. It's very hard because the record keeping wasn't that good in the old days, but there are over 300,000 people here, and I tell people there's over 300,000 stories. I became interested in some of the lesser known people, but I also met people like Carolyn, that know all of the people that are buried in here that passed away more recently. So that kind of why this book started.
And I didn't realize the extent of history that was African American history that was buried in on these grounds. But it is a magnificent story. So it's deeper. Obviously, I knew about Frederick Douglass and his family because that was well documented, including the Spraggs, Rosetta and Nathan Spragg. Rosetta was Douglass's daughter. But it's fascinating.
370. 67 and a half. Okay, so it should be down this way.
Reverend Thomas James of the Memorial AME Zion Church, which is the oldest African American church here in the area. He's buried in here, and it's included in this book. The church leadership sent him everywhere to help shore up churches in other places.
That's it. You got it.
And then he was sent to New Bedford, Massachusetts, and that's where the magic happened in terms of his connection with Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was just recently arrived and settled in New Bedford and had just started speaking out about his situation, escape from slavery. Thomas James puts him in front of his first white audience to give that story, and he becomes a lecturer on the abolitionist movement. And Thomas James recommends that he comes to Rochester, and Rochester becomes his home. And that's what you see throughout this book, are different connections.
Now, Frederick Douglass was a person that went out and tried to get as many African American men as possible to enlist. And Ferdinand Cunningham did come all the way up to Massachusetts because of Frederick Douglass and enlisted in the 54th Massachusetts. Now, any Civil War buff has probably seen the movie Glory, and that's about the 54th Massachusetts and their battle at Fort Wagner. Here in Rochester, New York, you have a man, Ferdinand Cunningham, who enlisted in the 54th Massachusetts, was in that group at Fort Wagner and survived it. Came back to Rochester, became a barber, as many of them did, became very important in his community, was on the committee to help choose a statue for Frederick Douglass, which was the first statue dedicated to an African American in the United States. It's good for younger people and all people to realize that some of these stories that we are historical things that we know about, there's people right here that participated in it.
Any history documentation that's done about African American community members and what they have accomplished, it adds to the value. That gives value to people. Reading history and knowing what your people, your forefathers, and others have contributed, and that they found a way to bring value to your life. If you have that within you, I think it gives you courage to go forward and make changes yourself that are positive. And that's what I hope that they come away with, is a better feeling about themselves.